Hello, you're watching NSG News, and this is the hot seat. And in the spirit of Ghana must work, Africa must work, must unite. For other video, subscribe to the channel. Help the channel grow. Give us a thumbs up as you go through the various topics that we have talked about past and the various topics we'll be bringing your way. Niger, ECOWAS, France. We all know. Today we want our viewers, our followers to benefit from what we will call a little more comprehensive outlook of what is driving or why the sudden trend of military takeovers in the West African region. And Niger and actually Gabon has become the next country where the military think it is time they do something for the people. Of course, on the hot seat, we said we need to come to the place where we are justifying what is a coup and what is a military takeover or military intervention, as the fundamental disposition of a country is to defend the country both domestically and internationally. And we still maintain that. And therefore, we don't have to go on painting every action of the military as a coup. A coup is when a group of soldiers, for whatever reason, topples, destabilize a working civilian government that is working effectively and efficiently in the interest of country and people. And these group of soldiers then decide to, for their own selfish reasons, go and destabilize such government. That's a coup. But military takeover is when the military thinks enough of all that is not going in favor of country and people, and the act is an intervention. It's a military takeover. Anyway, without much ado, we're going to bring you a short, comprehensive outlook of the state of affairs that is believed to be driving the action of this military. We encourage you, our viewers, to have a listen. It's not a long video. It's a video. It's a broadcast that we're bringing to you from what I'll call WION, or the World is One News. I believe they used to be called the Gravitas. So have a listen, and I'll come back and sum off and sign off. It is comprehensive. From the hot seat, we think it's a comprehensive outlook of what actually is going on. We present to you the outlook, the overview of what is driving the military actions within the West African region. The World One News. Here we go.
Have you ever wondered why most resource-rich countries are so poor? Why can they not get the full value of their resources? Why are they victims of poverty and unemployment? Just look around you. Venezuela has oil, the Democratic Republic of Congo has diamonds, and Angola has both oil and diamonds. And yet, these countries are all poor, just like Niger. It has a wide variety of minerals and resources. It is one of the world's biggest producers of uranium, a major producer of gold in the African continent, and a major source of oil in West Africa. Yet, the country has not been able to cash in on its resources. It remains one of the world's poorest countries. 42.9% of its people live in poverty. 83% of them live in rural areas, and 20% of them cannot meet basic daily needs. Why? Is the country suffering from the resource curse, the paradox of the plenty, or is it a victim of foreign exploitation? You know, a casualty of the global battle for resources. Hello and welcome. This is Gravitas Plus. I am Molly Gambhir. It has been over 2 weeks since the coup in Niger. The country's constitution has been suspended. Foreign troops are being forced to go back home. And the supply of uranium sales to the West might stop. That's right. Niger's junta is threatening to stop selling uranium to the West. A move that might hurt Western nations deeply. And here's why. According to a World Nuclear News report, Niger supplies around 5% of the world's uranium, a resource critical to Europe's nuclear energy. According to the Euratom Supply Agency, the EU purchased around 2,905 tons of raw uranium in the year 2021. And this, by the way, represented about 24% of the EU's uranium imports, putting Niger ahead of Kazakhstan as the EU's leading source of uranium. Which European country buys the most uranium from Niger? France. Niger accounts for 15% to 17% of the uranium used to generate electricity in France. So if the junta halts the supply of uranium, France would be the biggest loser. And observers say that Paris invited this upon itself. Have a look at this 2013 report. It was published by Oxfam. It said that France was making a killing, profiting off the uranium in Niger. Yet, the people of Niger have seen almost no benefits from this uranium extraction. 1 out of every 3 light bulbs in France is apparently lit because of Nigerian uranium. Yet, in Niger, nearly 90% of the population has no access to electricity. Why is that? Why is the world's 4th largest uranium producer and a strategic supplier to France still poor? Why has it failed to benefit from the revenue of this extraction? Here's what Oxfam said. The multinationals that are mining uranium in Niger have a habit of signing secret agreements and indulging in closed negotiations. There is no transparency and there is no equity. The deals are more accommodative for the firms that mine uranium than the people of Niger. And is this why the French embassy in Niger was attacked immediately after the coup? Have a look at these visuals. On the 31st of July, thousands of people backing the coup in Niger assembled outside the French embassy. They waved Russian flags and chanted, "Down with France." It does not end there. On the 10th of August, a senior advocate from Niger's neighbor, Nigeria, blamed the coup on the exploitation of resources. He said the reckless exploitation of natural resources is one of the principal driving forces behind the unsettling political unrest and the rise of unconstitutional changes in government, not just in Niger, but in the entire West African region. Let me quote from his exact statement. The implementation of the anti-people's policies of the foreign forces has continued to increase the poverty of the entire people of the region. Such exploitation is compounded by the control of the national economy by the World Bank and the International Monetary Fund. Now, these are big claims. Is there any merit to them? There certainly is. You see, Niger is not the only state in the region with valuable strategic resources that has witnessed a coup. Have a look at this map. In the year 2021, the Republic of Guinea witnessed a coup. It holds the distinction of being the world's largest producer of bauxite, an essential mineral for a host of industrialized economies, especially Europe. Same story with Mali. In 2021, the country was ranked as the 4th largest producer of gold in Africa, producing about 63.4 tons. The same year, the country witnessed a coup. And then we have Burkina Faso. It is the fifth largest producer of gold in Africa, producing around 45 tons. In January 2022, Burkina Faso also witnessed a coup. You know what's common among these countries? Most of their resources are mined by foreign companies, companies that are either from the US, Canada, or France. I'm not saying they go there with vested interests, but there is some level of exploitation that indeed does take place. Have a look at what this report states. It talks about how, despite the end of French colonialism in West Africa, the country still maintains neo-colonial policies, effectively controlling West African economies by making them use the CFA franc as their national currency. Let me quote an excerpt from the report. The CFA franc is a barrier to industrialization and structural transformation in these countries. It is a neo-colonial device that continues to destroy any prospect of economic development in user nations. And this economic exploitation, by the way, is just one piece of the puzzle. The other is military dominance. You see, the United States has one of its largest and most important drone bases in Niger. The Air Base 201. It cost $110 million to build and an additional $20 to $30 million per year to maintain. That's right, the US is spending millions on a military base in one of the poorest countries on earth. This base has been functioning for years, yet it has not brought the Nigerian people any prosperity. By all means, it only served America's geostrategic interests, helps it protect French and American economic activity. The point I'm trying to make is fairly simple. This external influence and interference in West African countries, coupled with the unchecked extraction of the region's vast natural resources, may explain why the militaries and the people of these states have risen in revolt. Their actions cannot be justified by any means. But maybe it's not just power that they are seeking. Maybe they are also seeking complete decolonization, complete control of their resources, and complete sovereignty. Think about it.
Welcome back. You have heard what the Gravitas, or the Gravitas Plus, or WION, W-I-O-N, have to say. And they caption it, "Is Niger a victim of foreign exploitation?" What's your view? You've listened to what they have presented. Facts. What is your view? And that brings us to, even in Africa, we are divided as to the disposition or the desire of ECOWAS wanting to invade Niger being justified. As of our previous videos, the hot seat, we don't think any attempt of the ECOWAS to invade Niger or any other country is justified. If truly ECOWAS is set up in the interest of countries and peoples in the sub-region. Because as it stands, the hot seat have not come across any reports of genocide, the military leadership doing things against their country and people, violating their fundamental human rights. We've not come across anything like that. So you've heard what the world is one news have to say, the Gravitas. And so we need to be very careful what it is that is going on, especially as country people and as continent people. We don't have to be divided about matters like this. We need to be formidable with constructive view on what it is that we want to achieve. Actually, the hot seat, we came across a video that is circulating that seems to suggest that up until the military takeover from Niger, France was buying uranium for 80 cents. True or false, that's what is being speculated around. And as we speak, the new government formed by the military have decided to sell the uranium for 200 euros. per kilogram, I believe it is. So if it is true that France was buying uranium from Niger at 80 cents, whilst the prevailing international market price is 200 euros or more, would you say the military was involved in a coup, or they actually intervened in, as the World is One News has carried it, exploitation? Who wants to be exploited? I don't want to be exploited. Think on that and forward the video to all Africa-loving Africans and to all Ghana-loving Ghanaians and to all those that are interested in the fundamental rights of Africans, that we have the right to choose, the right to decide who we go into business with, the right to be engaged in business with whatever country we so wish, not to be predetermined by a group of people or a group of countries that, except they say, we can't do. This is The Hot Seat. I'm your host, Im. Do share the video, like it, subscribe to it, and help the channel grow as we collectively work in the interest of country. NSG News, the authoritative patriotic channel of Ghana, the hope of Africa, Black Stars. Thank you for listening, and we do hope you forward this video, this broadcast, to as many as possible. See you in our next episode. Bye for now.